Time and time again, I've been asked, whether straight to my face or in the comments of our YouTube videos, is a 4x4 really necessary or is a 4x2 good enough? And my response is, being a city boy myself, that a 4x2 is most definitely good enough. But regardless of what it is that I have to say, sometimes people will still end up going for the 4x4, not just because they need the off-road capabilities and not just because they were smart enough to check our promos page on our website, because we've got absolutely great deals on almost every pickup truck in the country, but it's more of a fear of missing out kind of a thing, because the 4x4s do offer the latest and greatest tech that the brand will provide. The same can be said about the next generation Ford Ranger. This isn't the 4x4 model, but rather the 4x2. And on this episode, I will obviously take you through the exterior, the interior, and of course the engine. But more importantly, I want to find out and help you figure out if you really need a 4x4 or if the 4x2 is right for you. Hey, that rhymes. So first things first, one of the largest deciding factors when purchasing a pickup truck, be it a 4x4 or a 4x2, is most definitely going to be the price. Now, in the case of the 2023 next generation Ford Ranger Wildtrak 4x2, it comes in at 1,604,000 Philippine pesos. The difference from this and the 4x4 is 300,000 Philippine pesos. Yeah, it's a bit of an ouch, but if you do check out our promos page on AutoDeal.com.ph, you'll find lots of discounts and great deals for this truck. So if you're interested in getting one for yourself, well, do yourself the favor and check it out. But back to that price, 300,000 Philippine pesos more affordable. I'm thinking, are we really missing out on that much up against the 4x4? Well, let me show you. One telltale sign that you're looking at a 4x2 rather than the 4x4 is the badging that you will find on the side. On the 4x2, you get a turbo. On the 4x4, you get a bi-turbo. So obviously, what's underneath also adds to that price. We'll get to the engine a little bit later. I want to also mention this color. It's really great because, well, it's the middle of September. We just had the car washed, but yet it's again dirty. However, in this Lux Yellow, it actually hides it very well. And also, am I saying that name right? Is it Lux Yellow or is it Lux Yellow?
What?
Luxe?
You're just making stuff up at this point.
I am. I really am. Now, when you get to the bed, you have two very useful things that you will find on the 4x4 as well as the 4x2, which is a tailgate assist. Very easy to bring it down. And then, of course, there is the step on the side, which they've implemented on all next generation Ford Rangers, which I absolutely love because it gets getting into the pickup truck, the bed rather, much easier. Here in the back, you will find a liner. You've got a 12-volt socket and a 230-volt outlet, which we've done on previous reviews and show just exactly how fantastic those things are when you need to charge either your laptop or a battery when you go camping. It's actually very useful. The bed itself measures over 1,500 millimeters long, over 1,500 millimeters wide, and 540 millimeters tall, with a total load capacity of over 1,000 kilograms. It's got the same bed size and load capacity as the 4x4, but there are some changes, or rather deductions, in the 4x2, in the sense that it doesn't have radars on the rear tail lamps, which can detect just exactly how long it is what you're towing, and it will tell you when to change lanes in a safe manner and time. And the other difference, obviously, is in that in the 4x4, your towing capacity will be much larger than in the 4x2. But the 4x2 is no slouch by any means. I mean, it still should be able to tow something in the size of a schooner to match your Lux Yellow paint job.
What?
I have no idea what I'm saying. I was thinking of a scone. I don't even know what a schooner is. How did I even get there? I'm probably hungry. Because I skipped breakfast. If you're wondering about load capacity up against the other pickups available in the country, try our comparison tool and see for yourself the differences, whether the Ranger is up or down on any of your favorites. Now, inside the Wildtrak, you still get the massive 12-inch portrait-style touchscreen infotainment system equipped with Ford Sync 4A, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and 6 speakers all around the cabin, which sound pretty darn good. The seats are similar as well. You've got power seats for the driver, including lumbar support, manual for the passenger, and the leather also the same, and the support is actually quite comfortable. Now, on the steering wheel of the 4x2, it's quite similar to that of the 4x4, which is to say you've got your cruise on your left and your audio controls on the right. Now, what the 4x4 doesn't have is the Advanced Driver Assist System, or ADAS, that comes with Ford automobiles, top-of-the-line Ford automobiles, which has stuff like adaptive cruise, lane keep assist, autonomous emergency braking. If, however, you are in need or have the interest of getting a 4x4 for those safety equipments, we did test them out on a video where Ford took us up to the north. And in that particular video, the systems were actually so good that we decided to put Jack's hopes and dreams up on the line and test it. Woo! Sideways. Why do you want to slow down, Jack?
You're so close. No, honestly though, you're so close.
We
It's
were
kinda
not close.
It's kind of scary.
We were like 3 cars away. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that, Jack. I still feel bad about it. There are some blank buttons missing because, well, obviously that's where some of the functions would be for the ADAS system. And then very largely, you are missing a huge knob or a dial to go from 4x2 to 4x4 and all the other variations that you can put the drivetrain to, because obviously this is a 4x2. But in its place is actually a coin holder where Jack puts his coins. Very nice. Thanks, Jack. Or you can actually use it to stack some Oreos for a snack if you're hungry. Or in my case, pop it out and use it as a shot glass. Tequila. Ooh. The rest of the interior design and materials are quite similar. From the orange stitching, storage spaces around like this thing up here, the cup holders in the center, bottle holders on the door, the sockets, the vents, the center armrest, even the wireless charging pad. Now, the rear seats, or rather the rear cabin, is quite identical to that of the 4x4, which is to say that you've got bench seats, you've got a center armrest with cup holders, you've got bottle holders on the door, you've got air vents, charging points in the center in the form of Type-C and Type-A, and also a 230-volt plug. Now, while the rear seats are comfortable enough, in fact, to be honest with you, they're probably just a bit more comfortable than that of the BT50. However, if you're looking for much more comfortable seats for your rear passengers in a pickup truck, you might want to check out the Navara, which I'm sure that the links are found down below. But now, to the largest difference from the 4x4 to the 4x2, other than the drivetrain, of course, is what's up front. Up front, at the heart of the 4x2, is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel, non-bi-turbo, mind you, mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission that produces 168 horses and 405 newton meters of torque. Now, compared to the 4x4, it's got 100 newton meters less. But really, 400 newton meters of torque is more than enough for you to do anything that you need on the road. Unless, of course, you need more power to tow 2 schooners.
What the heck is a schooner?
Do I look money to you? I have no idea what a schooner is. I think it's like a really big scone, I'm telling you. Now, I would like to take you for a drive and tell you just exactly how this engine feels. But before that, allow me to point out 3 really cool things that will speak to me. Number 1, a Secret Santa stash spot. Shh, don't tell nobody. Number 2, door cards that are big enough to hold a bottle and Jack's bottle. Number 3, when you're bored traveling 5 centimeters per hour in ridiculous Metro Manila traffic, you can play tic-tac-toe. Stupid game anyway. Let's go for a drive, but before we do please consider liking this video if you deem it deserves it. And also, please subscribe to our channel because we create all our videos just for you guys.
We're so close to 500,000!
That close. That close. It is down on power compared to the 4x4. 95, 100 newton meters of torque is still a lot, but really 405 in total is still a lot. It's still quite peppy. And then when you give it the pork and beans, yeah, there's a lot of pull, especially down low in the rev range. Then there's also the fact that if you find yourself at the stoplight, if you're at a standstill making a turn or going straight, it's powerful enough that you will slip. That is, of course, if you're a bit enthusiastic with the right pedal, if you know what I mean. If the city is kind to you, you will be able to get roughly 8.5 kilometers per liter, which is, it's about par for a car of this size and weight, and wind resistance is not really your friend because of the back. On the highway, though, much better legs because you can push it up to 19.5 kilometers per liter. The transmission is smooth, pretty smooth actually, but I gotta give it to the 4x4. It's probably not as smooth as the 10-speed automatic, especially when you're downshifting and going through the gears in manual mode. Oh, speaking of manual mode, there is a manual mode too here in the 4x2. It's just that there are no paddles on the steering wheel. It's actually on the shifter. Works well, works fine. It's just that the positioning could have been a bit better. Smooth too is the overall ride of the 4x2. Vibrations are kept down to a minimum, so is road noise. It doesn't really creep in. And when you go over less than perfect roads, it's actually still quite stable. The ride most definitely comes to par with what you'd expect from a pickup truck. Could be smoother. There are smoother pickup trucks out there, like the Raptor. So this is definitely not a Raptor. I mean, because the suspension on that automobile is just completely different. That's a whole different beast altogether. Oh, and speaking of the Raptor, if you'd like to see a video of that, we do have the links in the description below, where I do not go over a river. No, for real, I don't. I really don't. On well-behaved roads, such as a highway or inside the city, the pickup is actually pretty easy to drive. If, however, you're not accustomed to much larger vehicles, then there might be something that might sway you away from this automobile because there is only a reverse camera. There isn't a 360. Now, for something of this size, you'd expect to have a 360 camera to help you in the tighter spots inside the city. But overall, I really don't have any complaints. As a driver, the passengers, it is a pickup truck, it might be an issue for those in the back. We all know that bench seats aren't the most comfortable seats on the planet, but it's good enough definitely for short jaunts inside the city. I have made no secret that I myself drive a 4x4, but had it been a 4x2, it will definitely meet the expectations of whatever it is that I need to drive inside the city. And truthfully, that's exactly what this 4x2 is actually doing for me right now. I enjoy all the bells and whistles of a 4x4, but as a city slicker myself, with a hint of adventure every once in a while, it's kind of hard to see myself trying to squeeze in the rationale of actually getting a 4x4. I'm stumped. If indeed you are debating between the 4x4 and the 4x2, have a listen to these 3 points. Number one is that yes, most definitely it is down on power, 100 newton meters of torque. But as we've shown you, it doesn't really matter because it's got so much power to get through anything and everything that you really need to do inside the city. And it's still quite a punchy engine as well. Number two is that yes, it is also devoid of the ADAS, but it's still got some pretty good tech inside, such as the 12-inch screen that is available on both 4x4 and 4x2 models. Number three is space and practicality. The comfort inside, as well as the bed capacity, is near identical, if not completely identical, to that of the 4x4. And plus the exterior of the automobile is almost a mirror, and it's quite good looking too. Then there's also the fact that this car is 300,000 Philippine pesos more affordable than the 4x4. Now, I can only lead a horse to water, so my personal recommendation is yes, definitely the 4x2. But don't feel as if that you're missing out on so many things if you were to get the 4x2 over the 4x4. And if you are ready to get this car, head on over to AutoDeal.com.ph, try the Get Quote button, which will bring you that much closer to your next Ranger. Jack wants me to jump down, but I really don't want to because it's quite high and I look like a kid getting off a swing. Look.